Hi folks, Kevin here for drawingandcoloring.com, and I have a question. Are you having trouble trying to figure out which pencil to use, what the different hardnesses, softnesses are? Well, today I'm going to cover the top 4 pencils, actually the only 4 pencils you'll probably ever need to draw all of your drawings and really just have them pop and get all the depth and everything that you're going to need with just those 4 pencils. So if you want to know how to do that, stick around. I'll be right back. If you're struggling trying to figure out which pencil, HB, HC, B, C, D, F, M, all those different tones and shapes of the rainbow, if you're having trouble trying to figure out which one that you need to really just use so you can draw and focus on getting better, I'm going to tell you today the top 4 pencils that I use to draw every single image. If you're still using your school pencil to draw most of your images, I'm going to tell you why that might not be the worst thing in the world, because that's actually probably one of your best resources. Now you know there's H, there's the HB, H, all of those H numbers, and all of those go all the way over to the B section. H is going to be harder. They're going to be a lot lighter in pencil. They're going to put less lead on the paper. So really what you want to do with those is focus on your preliminary sketches. You want to draw sketches out, just outlines, get major shapes down. And those are really what these end pencils are going to be. And for all of those ranges in between, they're really not going to even be for you. They're going to be for drafters and you know, people that do construction, just drawings. So architects, really. The section over here, Bs, they're going to be your softer leads. Those are going to give you the depth. Those are really going to give you that pop that your image is really needing once you get it done with these preliminary drawings over here. So which one of these do you need from each category and which ones don't? Okay, so let's get to it. Whenever I'm drawing any image, or whenever I begin or start, there's only 1 or 2 pencils that I even start to think of. There's only one that should come to mind, really. And that's either an H pencil, which is going to be one of the hardest leads. It's going to be probably at the beginning until you go into the Fs, and those are just unnecessary to even use. And then the other one is a 2B pencil. The 2B pencil is probably the most owned. I have the most copies of this pencil in my toolkit. I probably have 10 or 15 pencils of 2B lead. They're pretty much an all-purpose lead that you can really do anything with. And number 2 pencil, which I said earlier, is going to be your school pencil. Your number 2, your regular fill in a Scantron number 2 pencil, is not much different than this. So if you can't afford a 2B, or maybe in a just little package so you can pull out a 2B, just use your regular school pencil. Now the other 2 pencils that I would even consider, if I'm really trying to get a super darker than even the, darker than the 6B, the only other 2 pencils are going to be a 7B or an 8B, and you can even just jump to a 9B. But these 2 pencils right here are really the only other 2 pencils that I even grab for if I need a super jet black dark. So let's go ahead to the table. I'll give you a quick demonstration of each and what they look like, and maybe you can get a little better picture, an idea of the uses that you can use with them, or the uses for them, and how you can really kind of pull a drawing together starting with the H and going to the B. So let's get over to the table and check it out. If you have these pencils, you can get rid of the ebony. You can get rid of the 8B. You can even get rid of the 7B and have these 3, and that's all you need. Now if you look towards the end here, the 6B is going to be a natural gradient from the 2B. You can blend these together really well. If you look at the 7B, you can see it gets a little darker. It's actually a lot more black in color. So that one's going to be a little harder to blend together with the 2B. That's why I was saying if you stick with the 6B, you can have all of those darknesses and they'll blend together very well. The 7B will give you a good contrast, but it's really not that necessary at this point. And if you look at the 8B pencil, which is this one right here, it's actually even just a slightly bit more black, and it's a little more rough to go on to the paper. So it's almost like a charcoal type. It's probably closer to charcoal than the 6B for sure. And if you look at the ebony gets the darkest coverage. However, it's so reflective it doesn't even look like it is. So ebony, I would just stay away from it completely. It's not even necessary, and it won't come in any of your standard packs. So there you go. That's about as simple as I can keep it for you. Get a 2B, H, and a 6B pencil, and then you can do all of the spectrums in all of the colors. So as you can see here, I have just a quick drawing I did for one of my ideas. And I did the initial drawings with an H pencil. And as you can see, I even drew all the preliminary stuff, starting with the H, and then I went over it with the darker 2B, or I think it might have even been a 6B in this case, and you can see how it really pops. So if you draw all of your initial drawings first, and you can mess up as much as you want and erase the lines super easy, and then once you have the exact thing you want, you go over it with the darker lines. You can even ink it if you have some pens, but that's a whole nother thing altogether. So I figured I'd give you a quick, quick example of what exactly I'm talking about here. Is if you can see here, the initial lines are all very sketchy and rough, and they were done using, I believe, a 2B pencil or the H. And I did the layout and all of the measurements. I did all of my preliminary sketching with the 2B pencil, and I did it super light. And I can either go back and ink this, or I can go in and retrace over the lines and get those lines a lot more cleaner than if I was just drawing straight with a 6B or a 7B pencil. It definitely takes away the room for error. So if you start light like this, then you can take the 6B and go in and fill those lines with a lot more depth and accuracy, because you already had the layout done. It's not a super realistic drawing, but if I needed to make it realistic, all of these tones would blend and shade as easily as I needed them to get them to add the shadow and tone that I need in this drawing. Now in this one, I kind of wanted to give you a good idea of just kind of conceptualizing your ideas. And this was drawn from a photograph, but the initial drawing, again, it started with, I believe it was actually a 2B pencil, drawing really light, getting all the lines down. You can see it's even still kind of sketchy. I still even have a little bit of the face markings to align the face and the cheeks. But the initial drawing was started with a 2B pencil, and then it was outlined using a very sharp 6B. And you can see, you can see all of the detail is super clean, thought out, all the lines are fine, and there's no pencil erasing that you can see from dark lines or something extra that wasn't able to get erased thoroughly. And it's sketchy in the inner part of it, but I left it like that for kind of effect. But if you draw down the first few images, the first few lines using the lightest pencil you got, don't press down on the paper so it doesn't impress the paper and leave lines, then it leaves you all the room for experimentation with the darker pencils once you have all your main shapes down. And you can go in and outline, and once you outline, it really makes the drawing pop, and you can accentuate lines reseed them, do whatever you want with these 3 pencils. That's all you need. So I thought that would be a good idea, a good image to show you just what kind of concepts you can put together and how you can really use the pencils to your advantage once you have all your main drawings and lines down first and get those perfect before you go and add the dark tones and lines. Alright, so like I said, I thought this was a good one for showing some of the different concepts, and I have another one right below it, which you can see is, along the same lines. It was drawn at the same time. I drew all of the light flowers in first, and then I outlined all the major shapes using that darker pencil. Here's another one. Same thing. First outline, first initial drawing, outline with a darker pencil. It really makes it pop. It actually gives it more of an illustrative look to it, a cleaner, sharper look. And if you really don't want to go that route, it's still, like I showed you in the other one, you can get all of those realistic tones using just those 3 pencils. There you go right there. It's all the same. There's all the dark tones you can see. And all of that was done with just those 3 pencils. Again, there's no need for any of the ebony or anything else for this kind of drawing. It's just, and it has a full tonal range, and all I did was those 3 pencils, initial drawing with the light ones, and yeah, another conceptual drawing that, otherwise if you started off with a darker pencil, it would leave you very little room to experiment with. Alright, so it's one thing to tell you about them, how they work, how they look. So you really want to just go get a pack. Go get 3. You can buy them individually at your art store if you have one on the corner, or even online if you go to Jerry's Autorama or a Dick Blick. They all have individual pencils that you can buy. You can even test out and really get a feel for which one gives you the darks that you need, the lights, the mediums. But I think you're going to really find that the H, the 2B, and 6B through 8B are really going to be all that you need. It only costs about maybe $5 to get all of these pencils, so it's totally affordable. There's really no reason not to go out and get a whole pack and just go ahead and play with them. Just go ahead, experiment, see what kind of gradients you can get, see what see what kind of line work you can do with the lighter ones, see what kind of darks and shading you can get and achieve with the softer leads, and really start to combine them and work with them, see what you can do with them, and that really will help you develop your own style using the same tools that everyone else is using too. That's all I have, that's all I use. That's everything I draw is with those 3 to 4 pencils every single time. I hope that helped, I hope that served you, hope you got a little clearer picture on exactly what you need to get started, and it really isn't much. So I'd love to hear what you have to say. Go ahead, enter your name in, not your name, but enter your comments below. Love to hear what you have to say. Any other suggestions or tips that you might have come across. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. And we also have that free ebook on the right, which you can get a lot more tips on shading and filling in detail. So, it's completely free. So just go ahead and do that if you want. And I'll see you guys in the next video.